Welcome back, trackside. Once again, race fans here to the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight. The Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series fires things off for the first time in round number 2. The championship chase. 8 drivers gonna battle it out over the next 3 weeks to see who will reign supreme with a chance for the championship and Homestead. That's down the road. We've got a race here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. It's the Creekwater 250. Right around the corner from getting underway here tonight. Before we head trackside for your national anthem, though, want to take a quick little look at those qualifying times. Gary Bowman sitting top of the speed charts for the moment. Will he be able to keep it there and lead the field to the green flag? Bowman still looking for a first race win, but sitting pretty in the point standings. Still chasing after that championship, so with just about 20 seconds remaining, looks like that's gonna do it for the Premier Racing qualifying session. Gary Bowman will start from the pole position here tonight, so we're gonna transition trackside and bring you your starting lineup. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And as the flyover finishes, we're gonna jump trackside. But before we do, how you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could all join us here tonight as we begin to transition trackside and get ready for tonight's Creekwater 250. 94 laps of beating and banging slingshot Ricky Bobby action here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, awaiting the word from the pace trunk, and we will begin to roll here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. Race number 1, round number 2, ready to fire off as we begin to roll. You can hear the music in the background. You know the sounds. You know it's time to run down tonight's starting a lineup for the Creekwater 250, brought to you by the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Inside row number 1, your premier racing setup pole award winner behind the wheel of that Blackstone 08. Gary Bowman will lead us to the green flag. Hot shoe just ahead outside the Matt Spartan 64 of Cody Richardson, Jerry Isaacs, and Judd Danielson back in row number 2. Andrew Koska, last week's race winner, looking for a three-peat. Cody Heinzman going to start in 6th. Dan Keene and Ed Jurgen back in row number 4. Row number 5 tonight, Dave Sanders and Corey Sherman rounding out your top 10. Chris Letts and Stefan Music back in row 6. Finishing out the field here tonight in the Creekwater 250, Ken Lung, Christian Delgado, and Mike Donahue. So a 15-car field here tonight. We've got 8 championship drivers looking to start round 2 off the right way. Talladega Superspeedway, one of these races that you're going to see just how quickly things can change, just how quickly things can happen. So will we see any tiptoeing early here tonight from the championship competitors? I would vote to say no, but I guess there's only one way to find out. Field data 4 getting ready to roll through the trioval. Long roll to the restart zone. And we're going to get things fired up for the first time here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway, the Creekwater 250. And I'm telling you, we got action right around the corner. Into the restart zone for the first time, and away we go on the gas. Green flag flies from Talladega Superspeedway. Inside lane, but a good jump. Isaac's all over the tail end of the 08 of Bowman. Top 2 get a step away side by side for the rest of the field. Adam 2. Outside line slowly starting to begin to form up a little bit here out of turn number 4, but they're giving up quite some time here on lap number 1. We should see that outside line come creeping back. But the more drivers that bailed, you can see right there. I believe that was the 64 of Cody Richardson. He says, I'm done. I got to move to the bottom. Slide in the line. 4th car, 5th car make that bottom lane as that outside lane starts to just disappear. Oh, and we got trouble on the backstretch. Trouble early. Caution flag will fly. Oh, no. Looks like Cody Heinzman going to pick up some damage. Judd Danielson in the 29 machine. Their Bruzy Racewear Camaro turned into the outside wall. Little bit of damage for sure on the front end of that machine. Let's see if we can go back. Have a little look. See what happened here. There you can see coming up the track just across the nose of that 28 and into the outside wall. Do we got a better look, guys? Can we back it up just a little bit further? Let's see if we can see it here. There it is. Yeah, just up the racetrack. Missing the gap just a little bit. That's all it takes. That's all it does. It into the outside wall. Under caution for the first time. Lap number 3 will go back out front with your race leader and your pole sitter, Gary Bowman. Nice little early look off of the tail end of this Blackstone machine of Gary Bowman. Looking at the rest of the field, catching up, getting in line. Everybody gonna get set. I would expect to see pit road, not minimal. What's the word I'm looking? Scarce. I wouldn't expect to see pit road a busy place. Quick caution here, very early. Talladega Superspeedway, you don't necessarily have to worry about the tires and the tire wear. 5 sets of tires, no need to worry about coming and getting them, at least not this early. The 92, the 6, the 09, Donahue, Heinzman, Delgado, Danielson, all going to prove me wrong, so just about half of the field are going to come down pit road, at least top off with fuel. We know Heinzman And Danielson going to be looking to fix a little bit of damage here early. Didn't look to be too bad for either of the drivers, so I think they're going to have... I don't think they're going to have any problems staying in the draft. When we go back, green flag racing, maybe not able to lead a line, but still a very long night here tonight. Still over 90 laps laid out in front of the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series drivers, so still a lot to go on. It is Talladega. Cloudy, overcast, cool night here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. Engine's going to be able to produce just a little bit more horsepower with a little cooler night. Sun's not beaten on the track, so the track temperature is going to stay a little bit cooler as well. That should lend its hand to keep a little extra grip in the track as it evolves and goes through the transition as the rubber gets laid down. So we'll see how the rest of the night goes. I would expect to see some side-by-side, 3 wide at times. We'll see how it all shakes out and pans out here tonight. Early caution, lap number 3. We're going to bring the field to a crawl. Looks like we should see the one to go this time by. And as promised, field going to receive the one finger wave from the boss man in the flag stand. Our good buddy Joshua Norwood behind the wheel of that iRacing Chevy Silverado pace truck here tonight. Field going to get double file. We'll unleash the beast once again here. Well, I can't even say southern Alabama. It's more like northeastern, really. Just about 2.5 hours away from Atlanta. About 2 hours away from Birmingham as well, so Talladega Super Speedway. And if you've ever been on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be I-20. Going in and by, just all of a sudden you see this huge American flag. Off to the, if you're going into Alabama, off to the left-hand side, just massive, massive American flag. And that's the speedway. You can see the banking in the corners from the highway. It is absolutely phenomenal. And if you're about a full race experience, I've been to Daytona, I've been to Bristol, Pocono. Name it, I have just about been there. There's not very many tracks I haven't made it to. But Talladega, it's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother ball game. The weekend in the infield with the racing going, oh my Lord. Just, if you haven't done it, put it on your bucket list. Get it done. I promise you will not be disappointed. Base truck in. We're ready to fire things off once again here tonight at the Creek Water 250. Field awaits Bowman to mash the gas and get us started once again, and away we go. Green flag flies. Catches that outside, sleeping just a little bit. Jerry Isaac's gonna fall back some. The 85 GoPro machine gonna drop right to the bottom. Dan Key not playing around. He wants nothing to do the top side of the racetrack for the moment. Looks like he may be opening up a little bit of gap for Isaacs. No, we're going to think better about it. Trouble off of 2. We got drivers around. Corey Sherman going to go around. Sherman, I believe that was Delgado. Yes, it is the 13 machine of Christian Delgado with troubles. There you can see the 6 of Corey Sherman. We're going to go back really quick. Let's go back to the front of the field, because we still got the start of this underway. Looks like pretty orderly at the front. Looks like we've got 2 full car packs beginning to form up. So quickly, let's get back to the replay, guys. Can we see what happened with Sherman again? Let's go back here. There you can see off of turn number 2. Let's see what happens. A little bit of a check up in front of him. Yeah, the 13 of Delgado just gets underneath a little bit. Both drivers keeping it off of the racing surface, and track officials to keep us green. So we'll head back out front here with your race leader, Gary Bowman, showing the way. Andrew Koska, Jerry Isaacs, Dan Keene, all right here running with him. Cody Richardson, Dave Sanders, all in line. Top 6 start to form the pack. And step away along with music. Letson Heinzman sit behind him and round out your top 10. Lap number 9 on the board. We'll go ahead and drop that timing and scoring to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you find and follow along with your favorite driver in the field. And as we stay packed up here, let's take a little look at the front end of these machines. Let's see what some super speedway racing looks like from behind the wheel of the 51 of Isaacs. And you can see in front of Isaacs a little bit of wiggling going on out of that 86 machine. Wanting to push Bowman, but not wanting to push the issue too early here tonight. Very long race ahead of these drivers. 250 miles of restrictor plate racing action. It can be quite taxing on the nerves. Quite taxing just all around. To stay so focused. I tell you what, with the single file orderly action at the front, doesn't look like we're gonna see any jockeying for positions for the moment. So let's head back a little deeper in the field. Let's head back here. Let's take a little look at the Mobile 1. Number 37. The Fast Forward Mustang of Ken Lung, sitting in 7th position. He's got the 09. Stefan Busick right behind him. Chris Lett still in tow. 3 little car pack here. A little further back, Cody Heinzman leading a 2-car train. Ed Jurgen gonna try to assist that 28, but a 2-car pack here at Talladega with 6 of them out front. Not a good sign. So we're gonna head back to the front now. Once again, let's go back to where the stacked action is, we should say. Looks to be single file racing all through the pack early here. Lap number 10 gonna go on the board. Early caution here. Looks like it may have shell shocked the field a little bit, calmed them down just a little. Everybody gonna break away, get some gaps, trying to run some laps, put the majority of tonight's Creek Order 250 behind them as we cross the line. Lap number 11 will go on the board. Another great onboard camera shot here tonight with our Toyota Care. Onboard camera on board with Andrew Koska sitting in that 2nd position. Great camera shots here on board with Koska. Let's go back to Cody Richardson, also carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight, sitting back in that 5th position. You can hear him really working the throttle. For those of you that think that restrictor plate racing is you just go flat out, take a listen here. Just listen how much feathering of that throttle was going on. The right foot very busy at these restrictor plate races. Typically you do have a handful of drivers that like to do what we call trail braking, which is you keep your foot on the gas. You don't lift your foot as much off of the gas, but you kind of keep that left foot rested on the brake pedal. And you just tap it, stab it every now and again. Keep slowing the car down while trying to keep the RPMs up. Not really sure which way is more beneficial. Personally, in my days of restrictor plate racing, which I'm not trying to brag, I am a pretty good restrictor plate racer. I do love some fast speeds with some high stakes on the line. I never really like to be the trail breaker, right? I typically lended my hand to just the working and feathering of the throttle. We're going to go back on board here. Another great camera shot. And again, you'll be able to watch those RPMs jump up and down. Just another example of what we're talking about with the throttle control, throttle plate. How disciplined you have to be to run in a draft and keep that draft pack very fast and quick, and just listen to working that throttle constantly. The only man that ain't worried about working the throttle, right here out front, showing the way. We'll take a little look outside of the car. I'll tell you what, why don't we jump? Do we got the drone up? Do we got the drone? Thank you. Let's get to the drone cam here. A little different perspective as the drivers head down the backstretch. There you can see that long push, a little bit of a bump draft from Isaacs on the 86. They're going to get the 08 souped up a little bit more. Speeds of over 197 miles an hour. My gosh. Top 6 stepping out to a 4.9 second advantage for the Bowman. Getting Blum losing a little bit of time. He's still got music and Lentz along with him. Cody Heinzman losing even more ground. 2-car back with last week's race winner. He's went back to back race winning performances over the course of the past 2 weeks. Latest win coming from Gateway last week. Early trouble here tonight has set Heinzman back. We'll see if he gets back to the front. We'll see if we get a caution to try to close this field up, or will we see the long green flag runs here through the middle portion of tonight's race. Lap number 16 gonna go on the board this time by, you're watching the Creekwater 250. So as we got a little bit of, I don't want to say a lull in the action, but as we had organized speed, we're going to take the opportunity there. You can see the 6 after the trouble. He's going to get walked down by this lead pack. Ooh, cutting close as Bowman. Getting walked down here is Corey Sherman. He's going to fall 1 lap down. Looks like the 08 jumped out of line purposely there, trying to give that 6 a little bit of help here. Interesting to see this. We're going to let this play out here. We were going to get into some of the season stats and things of that nature, and oh boy, here he is, the 08. Looks like he may be losing that draft. You want to go back and help the 6, but man, at what cost? Oh man. Half a second lost already for Bowman on Sanders. He's got to be careful here. Trying to help a friend out, and sometimes it may not be what you need to be looking to do. Because I promise you, those drivers that are in front of you all packed up with each other, they ain't worried about you staying with them. You can see it right now on that stopwatch. Bowman losing 1 second now. Over your top 5, they have walked away, and Sherman has not been able to catch up to Bowman. So both altogether, the strategy right there for your pole sitter here tonight. Gary Bowman going to fall apart. He's going to fall well behind the field. Let's jump back up with this lead pack here. As we were saying, though, or as we were about to say, only 2 drivers near perfect. And we're gonna, yeah, we are correct. Only 2 drivers near perfect when it comes to top 10 appearances throughout the course of the entire season. 12 top 10s for both. And behind the wheel of that 64 machine, Cody Richardson. 12 top 10s in 13 races, a phenomenal season so far. And that is why Richardson is one of the front runners heading to the meat portion of this championship chase. Only other driver in the series to have 12 top 10s. Man sitting right in front of him. Behind the wheel of that GoPro 85 machine. Dan Keene has just been phenomenal as well. Lights out so far this season. 6 top 5s as well for Keene. So definitely has the speed, definitely knows how to get the job done. Still looking for that first race win. Could it come tonight? So would stacked up odds. You know, I'd like to joke with the drivers in pre-race and during hot laps and qualifying. You know, Talladega and Daytona, it's kind of like the Hunger Games for these drivers, right? You get out there and there's probably going to be some people that ain't going to make it to the end. And at the end, only one person can win. You're willing to do things at the end of one of these restrictor plate races that you may not do at any other track. You may leave your teammate hanging. You may bump them into the outside wall. You may spin them coming through the tri-oval. Anyways, we're going to continue on here tonight with lap number 22 going to go on the board. Next time around, top 5 going to step away. Just, again, a little bit of a rough decision here for Gary Bowman, your Premier Racing Setup Pole Award winner. He had to fall all the way back to the 6 and all the way back to that 37. 5-car pack here, so they should be able to start to close in on those race leaders. They're going to have to keep it clean and organized if they're going to try to slowly pick apart that advantage, that race lead. But it's going to be some tough sledding. Long way to go. Over 10 seconds back for Bowman. He's got a big journey ahead of him now. We're going to check back in with that 2-car tandem just now making their way across the start-finish line, being led by that NASA Energy number 28 Toyota. Cody Heinzman sitting back in 10th, way back. After a little bit of damage early, tough restart, falls deep behind the field. I'm going to call it like I see it. We never pull punches. We never try to sugarcoat things. I think these 2 drivers are going to be very close to falling off the lead lap by the time we see green flag pit stops. We should see drivers to pit road here, I would say, in the next 5 to 10 laps. 8 out of your 15 did not come to pit road under that first caution. So we got to keep that in mind. There is going to be drivers needing to come to pit road to get that fuel. So we'll see if that's going to be enough to get Bowman back in it. We'll see if that's going to be enough to get Heinzman back in it. But for the moment, out front, man, this Mad Sim Spartan, or Mad Spartan Sim, it's a conglomerate over there. It's like 2 or 3 different, you know what it is? It's like a massive corporation with its subsidiaries, right? There's There's so much talent over there with the Mad Sim and Mad Spartan team. It's hard to keep them apart from each other. Dominating in the points. Dominating on the track week in and week out. Here it is. Showing up that teamwork mentality. And it's good to have the teamwork mentality early, right? Set yourselves up. Set yourselves apart. And then battle it out amongst teammates at the end. But that's immediately going to pose the problems at the office on Friday morning. I've always found it easier to wreck somebody else than my teammate. And again, I'm being honest, I'm not pulling any punches. That ain't what we do. We don't pull punches around here. But you know, because you don't have to look that teammate in the face first thing Friday morning. You know, you get to send texts and have phone calls with the other drivers, but when it's a teammate, you got no choice but to face it. And hopefully they understand. If not, you know, well, it is what it is. We continue to roll on here tonight. A long green flag run after an early caution on lap number 2. Caution flag waved. We were back racing by lap 7. 20 laps of green flag action behind us now as drivers head down the backstretch and into turn 3. Once again, lap number 27 going to go on the board this time around. Top 5 breakaway. These guys absolutely stepping it out. We looked at the timing scoring, and it looked like there for a moment that Bowman, Lung, Letts, and Music, that 5-car pack, Corey Sherman included in that little list of drivers. It looked like they began to gain a little bit of time. They had it down to just about 10.5 seconds. Bowman now 12.8 seconds back. And losing time. Looks like this second pack having a little bit of trouble. Let's get back there, guys. Can we get back to that second pack, please? Let's go back and see what's going on back here with that Blackstone 08 machine. And there you can see out front the 13 machine of Christian Delgado. Leading this 6-car pack. A little bit of movement out of the tail end of it and a little bit more gapping. Look at the gapping here. Look at the organization out of this pack. And then we're going to take you back up to the front. Look at the difference. Take a look here as they pan past the camera. Bigger gaps, offset a little bit more, just a little bit messy, a little unorderly. Let's go up here to these top guys. Gaps are closer. Much less movement. And we're going to give it to you raw. Let's go back here. The movement just not there. Very neat, tight, and orderly out of this front pack. And we've got green flag pit stops underway. Bowman, Letts, Music, Lung, Sherman, Delgado. All to pit road this time around. That's going to leave your top 5 yet to hit pit road. And there it is. All 5 going to head to pit road. They're going to fan out. Look at the 86 of Koska. He wants the race lead. Andrew Koska going to pick up some time coming on to pit road. I would expect to see Bowman and this group of drivers get back up to speed, but I wouldn't look for him to make up a ton of ground on that top 5. It looks like a 4-tire stop for this group of drivers. I would expect to see some fuel-only stops out of the field. And right now, I mean, that's something that I'd have been eyeballing. If I was in the group of drivers coming down pit road with Bowman in the field, I'd have been on the radio. Hey guys, we need fuel only. Everybody, fuel only. Do not get tires. We got ground to make up. Give up on the tires now. Make up the time on and off pit road. That's going to translate massively when you get back to racing. And you can see here, able to close in on the gap. You can see that gap quickly dissipating. So Bowman looking to make it less than 12.5 seconds. That was the gap before the round of green flag pit stops, as it has already come to a close and a completion. New race leader at the front, Cody Richardson, gonna show the way. Jerry Isaacs moves to second, Dan Keene third, Sanders and Costco round out your top 5. So there it is. Bowman was able to make up a little bit of ground. And interesting enough, had about, looks to be about a second slower in the pit box. But on and off pit road, phenomenal job. See if the 4-car train can reel in the top 5. Just about 6 seconds back. Bowman definitely cutting into that deficit. We're going to transition back out front. And why are they gaining on those drivers? We're going to take a look here. That top 5 getting thinned out just a little bit. Lap number 32 going to go on the board this time around. We are just about a third of the way through tonight's Creekwater 250. Top 2, Richardson and Isaacs pulling away from King. Sanders right there. Koska behind. So your top 5 now broken down into 2 separate packs, and that is where the benefit is coming from for Bowman. We're going to check out, let's go here with Bowman in this 4-car pack. Sherman, as well as the 13 of Christian Delgado, both off of the lead lap for the moment. But right here closing in on the front runners, they're going to be looking to race hard to get themselves back onto the lead lap. And look at this. What a turnaround for Gary Bowman. What looked like a night that his race was just about coming to a close. The gap was getting too big to overcome. 15 laps later, battling for the top 5. Don't play with me. So we went from 5 to what is that going to be? 7 drivers on the lead lap in this lead pack. 9 of them lined up all together. Corey Sherman and Christian Delgado. Will they try to make a move? They got to get themselves back on the lead lap somehow, right? You can't just stay in line here. You're going to keep yourself that 1 lap down. Hoping for a caution at this point might not be the medicine you need. We've been 30 laps of green flag racing here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. And we're looking to see pit stops in about another 20 laps. So already gonna have to start eyeballing when you head back to pit road again. And when will we see strategy come into play? I can't... For the life of me, I cannot imagine that these drivers have not thought about just taking fuel. Maybe they're running the primary tires. No, too soon. All-star race. Let's just forget about it. Moving on. Right to the front of the field. Back across the stripe. Show the way. Cody Richardson gonna lead Jerry Isaacs, Dan Keene, Sanders, and Koska gonna finish out your top 5. Bowman and Long right there, 6th and 7th. Chris Letts dropping back through the field just a little bit. Let's take a look at the 65 machine, top of the racetrack. He's got Stefan Busick right behind him. The spam machine in the house here tonight. taking over that iconic schema ran by, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the one and only Dave Gage. Is it Gage that I'm thinking about, guys? Dave Gainforth. Gainforth. We apologize, Dave, if you're out there listening. Man, where you at? What's happening? Hope everything's good with you. Hope to see you back on the track when we hit the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway in 2 short weeks, just after the Memorial Day weekend celebration. So we hope, looking forward, everybody has a safe and happy holiday. First and foremost, we hope you get to join us once again next Thursday night, or 2 weeks from now, I should say, not next Thursday night, but we go road course racing at the Roval. Gonna check back in with a band that has been on a hot streak as of late. Cody Heinzman with 9 top 10s, 6 top 5s, 2 race wins on the season. The rookie has had a phenomenal year, trying to see if he can't keep himself on the lead lap. Coming dangerously close to being put 1 lap down. Jürgen and Heinzman proved me wrong during that opening round of green flag pit stops. They were able to keep themselves on the lead lap. I thought they were going to end up getting ate up by that lead pack. But now with the massive number, looks like they're beginning to close in just a little bit more. And a methodical split here. Check out the split at the front. They're going to split these 9 cars into 2 packs. 4 cars out front, 5 in the back, 2 lap machines in that second pack. But I don't know if I don't know. If I'm Bowman, nah, you ain't gonna back me up, bud. I went to the back. I gave y'all 12 seconds. I'm back in the mix. We go. You gonna stay up here, or you gonna get out my way? You gonna get tired of me beating the rear bumper off? Defensively aggressive. That's what I like to call it. I mean, some people agree with it, some people don't, but nonetheless, it's part of racing action as we take a look on board. Riding with the 08 Blackstone machine of Gary Bowman, your premier racing setup for the world winner, sitting back in that 6th position, just a little bit over the hood. You can take a look now off of the 51. And drivers just around the corner from the halfway point here tonight. Lap number 41 going to go on the board this next time by. So we're going to kick things off a little bit prematurely with your mid-race report. 15 drivers to the starting grid here tonight. We are down to only 13 remaining with just 11 on the lead lap. Jürgen and Heinzman flirting with being put down a lap by this massive lead pack. 9 drivers in this lead pack, 7 of them are on your lead lap. And there you can see the 2-car tandem. And this is where it gets interesting for Sherman and Delgado. There you can see that number 6 machine. Let's take a little. Can we eyeball the 6, please? There you go. Sherman and Delgado, the 13 purple machine. 2 cars back. Listed the first 2 drivers 1 lap down. They've got a battle for the lucky dog, but as they get right here with Ed Jurgen and Cody Sherman, Heinzman, Sherman and Delgado, they're going to now be racing with 2 more drivers to try to put themselves in position for the lucky dog if we get a late race caution. And the more drivers that join this pack, the less patience that I think we're going to see. I think we might see drivers begin to jump out, see if they can't get somebody to join them in a run to the front. A little bit of a gap there. Jurgen and Heinzman gonna fall in line. That's gonna slow down this second pack just a little bit here. 5-car breakaway at the front, once again being led by Richardson, closed out by Costco. Single file action here as we continue tonight's Creek Quarter 250 right here with the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Want to give a big shout out to each and every one of the sponsors making things happen, putting in the work, joining forces with just an absolutely phenomenal racing league. They've got series all week long. If you're looking for road course action, they've got that. They've got some short track series. Different cars, different tracks. Get fun. Your adrenaline fix with the Cyber Thunder Racing Leagues on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. If you're looking to get behind the wheel and put in some work, check them out on iRacing.com. Once again, that's Cyber Thunder Racing League. And a massive pack now formed up at the front of this field. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say there's just about 3 drivers not in the pack. Wait, there's 13 drivers on the pack, on the track, and I believe only these 2 right here, I believe only Chris Letts and Stefan Music are not in what is essentially the front pack. So how things get skewed, twisted. There you can see massive line of single file cars down at the bottom of the racetrack here, hugging that double yellow line at Talladega Super Speedway. That double yellow line is your friend. Nobody can pass you to the left. You only got to worry about them going to the high side, so it makes the blocking a little bit easier. But as lap number 46 goes on the board, we don't really have to worry about blocking yet. Just at the halfway point here tonight. And things gonna get busy in a hurry. We're gonna have 47 laps to go next time around, so right at that halfway point here tonight. Still looking at least 2 more pit stops to make it to the end. Drivers with 5 sets of tires to start tonight's race. Already burning one of them with the pit stop back on lap number 29. Will any of our championship drivers roll the dice, reshape their night, reshape their situation, put themselves. You hear me say it week in and week out. You hear me say it constantly throughout the broadcast. Position. In a lot of things, position is everything. You gotta be in the right position at the end to win one of these things. We've got drivers heading to pit road this time around. Massive exodus to pit lane. Ooh. It looks to be about, what's that, about 8 drivers coming to pit road. That's going to leave just Gary Bowman out there riding with Corey Sherman. Back to a 2-car tango. The 13 machine of Kristen Delgado a little bit too far back to lend a helping hand. Less Music able to keep themselves on the lead lap for the moment, so those 2 drivers are breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. We'll see if this 08 heads to pit road this next time by. He was able to make up a ton of ground with the mix-up. The drivers at the front, we'll see if he's able to do it this time. And he's going to stay out. Looks like Bowman going to stay out yet another lap here. Looking at the timing scoring, and it looks like right side tires, possibly left side tires this time by for this field. A little bit of a mix-up as well. Let's go right here. Let's take a look right here once again. There you can see 8 drivers to pit road. We got 2 separate packs once again. Just over the halfway point here tonight's second round of green flag pit stops underway. Handful of drivers still yet to make their second stop of the night. Race leader Gary Bowman still needed to come to pit road for the second time. Chris Letts also awaiting his second trip to pit road. 2 drivers down and out of the field here tonight. Mike Donahue and Judd Danielson early exits here tonight for both the 70 and the 29. And just the problems tonight continue to compound for that 28 of Cody Heitzman. On a roll. On an absolute tear. Over the past handful of weeks. 2 race-winning performances, back-to-back race-winning performances for the driver in that NASA Energy Drink 28 machine. Let's get a little look at him real quick. Come on, let's give the guy some credit here. 2 visits to victory lane in the past 2 weeks. Just an absolute phenomenal job. Driver catching fire towards the end of this season. Trying to play the spoiler week in and week out here as drivers make their way through the championship chase. And just tonight has not been the night. Cody's just had a little bit of struggles here tonight. We're going to take a look on board. But inside at the main pit didn't work behind the wheel. Tonight after just a very, very rough start. We're under 50 to go, just about. What's that going to be, guys? About 40, 43 when we cross the line, 42 when we cross the line this next time around. We will have to make one more green flag pit stop. We'll see when it all takes place. We'll see when it happens. Gary Bowman's still going to stay out here. And quite an extended run here for Gary Bowman. who came to pit road right at the same time that the rest of that lead pack did, back on lap number 28. So the drivers packed up that will take the eventual race lead, running just about a 20-lap stint. As of right now, Gary Bowman eyeballing possibly making a 30-lap run. And what's that do for the strategy? That's something else we haven't looked at or thought about yet either. Extending this run right now 7 laps further than Isaac, Skeen, Sanders, and Richardson, and 7 laps of fuel here at Talladega Superspeedway. I mean, that's massive. Especially when you're willing to play the risks and cut it at 2, maybe 3 laps, plus or minus. You think you can probably squeeze that back into the car. To make up 7, 8 laps of fuel? Ridiculous. So Bowman may be transitioning strategies here. We've seen fuel strategy work at Talladega before. Will it be the winning move here tonight for Bowman, the Blackstone? 08 Machines, your Premier Racing Center Pole Award winner. So Bowman does have speed. He's just had some bad luck. Really, just a tough run here tonight. We're going to take a look back with the pack of drivers right here, get across the start-finish line. Jerry Isaacs showing the way. Dan Keene, Sanders, Richardson, the long all packed up. Stefan Busick making that second stop of the night. Lap number 53. He will fall off of the lead lap. And it's going to be a lonely run here for Music. Looks like he's going to be out on the track all alone. No drafting help in sight. Tough run here for that 09. So when will our race leader Gary Bowman finally come to pit road? He is knocking on the door of making this a 10-lap longer stint than his fellow drivers, and that's going to change the game. There it is this time. He's going to head to pit road, lap number 56. He will head to pit lane. So right at that 30 lap mark. Still short. I don't know. I'm not sure about the strategy, man. Just not sure about the strategy. And what's good about not understanding the strategy is I don't necessarily have to. Luckily for these drivers, I am no longer on top of the pit box, not calling the shots or the strategy calls. So fortunately, these drivers aren't going to have to listen to my wild scenarios and thought processes. But fortunately, all you fans in TV land, y'all get to listen to it. Y'all get to enjoy some of the shenanigans and tomfoolery we pull up here in the booth sometimes. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. And once again, if you haven't already, show these drivers some love and appreciation. Let them know you enjoy the racing content week in, week out. Not just here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway, one of the fastest restrictor plates you will ever find, but all the action week in, week out. So if you haven't already, show these drivers some love, and before you go, drop them that thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe and smash that bell. Looking for where Bowman's gonna reemerge. Let's take a look. Can we find him on the track, guys? There he is. Man in the middle. Delgado and Sherman still with him. The trio train looking to try to close the gap. You can see him right there. He is gaining a little bit of ground here. So these drivers gaining a little bit on that lead pack. And this is the run that is going to, without a caution, this is the run that's going to tell it all for Bowman's chances at a checkered flag here tonight. He'll see the checkered flag, but will it belong to him? Will he be able to reach out and reclaim what was his at one point here tonight? I don't know. We're going to find out a little bit later. Back to the front, Jerry Isaacs, new race leader here at Talladega Super Speedway in the Creek Water 250. One caution here tonight, very early, brought the field to a crawl on lap number 2. We've been green flag racing ever since here tonight. 53 laps of hard-nosed Super Speedway action from Talladega Super Speedway for the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Watching the lead pack single file with a lot of Mad Spartan racing drivers peppered through the front of this field. I don't want to say there's going to be some team orders in play, but what do you think about seeing towards the end of tonight's race those Mad Spartan drivers teaming up and the Mad Sim drivers teaming up? A battle between the two factions on one team to the end of the race. That'd be phenomenal. That'd be amazing. We'll see what the driver sentiments are here in the next handful of laps. Lap number 61 well underway as the field heads back into turn number 3, knocking on the door of just 30 laps to go here tonight at the Creek Water 250. 2.66 miles around the racetrack here, and these drivers making it look easy. Less than 50 seconds is the lap times here tonight. Fastest lap of the race belongs to the 77 of Dave Sanders, that West Virginia rep. Machine sitting third in line on the racetrack. Sanders with a 48.25. 48.25. That is almost a tenth faster than any other driver in the field. And to put that in perspective, drivers right now running in the back, they're only making lap times about 49.54s. So just at about a second and a quarter faster for that fast time. There is a little bit of fall off, but it doesn't seem to be very significant or very much. Will we see the gamble? Will we see somebody try to separate themselves from the field with fuel only? If and here's the thing. You know, I'm not gonna talk too much about it anymore after this. If you can get one or two other drivers to do a fuel only stop for you, that is gonna be the way to go coming into what will be our final green flag pit stop of the night. You're gonna pick up at least 5 seconds on drivers that take 2 tires in fuel. I don't know. I like the strategy. That's what I'm eyeballing. The strategy a little bit off here tonight for your Premier Racing Setup Pole Award winner. Gary Bowman stuck, still mired back, 7.8 seconds back from your race leader, still running in the middle of Delgado and Sherman. Both Delgado and Sherman listed off of the lead lap for the moment. Late race caution going to be the only way these two drivers are going to see the lead lap once again. So a long night ahead of all three of these guys. Bowman has got to find some speed. He's already got a very differing strategy. We'll see if that's going to be the one to pan out and play out for him and get him back into a podium, back inside of a top 5, or possibly even the race win. But for this moment in time, I'm just not sold. There you can see Delgado gonna let the 08 now lead that pack. We'll see if that Blackstone 08 can get this trio heading to the front. Meanwhile, we're gonna go back out front. No change for positions, not much to talk about here. We're still single file at the front of this field. Isaacs show the way, Keen right behind him with Sanders, Richardson, and Long rounding out your top 5. 20 laps after these drivers visited pit road for the last time. How much longer will they stay out? We would expect to see them to pit road anywhere in the next 5 to 10 laps. Looks to be about 25 to 30 laps is what these drivers are getting on the fuel mileage. Looking over the field, looking over the timing and scoring and the speed charts for the moment as things start to wind down here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, lap 69 halfway underway. Field down the back, stretching into turn 3. Once again, we're going to have green flag pit stops right around the corner for the final time here tonight. The Creekwater 250. Will we see a late race caution restructure this field? Will we see a late race caution change the game? Ain't but one way to find out, and that's to finish things off right here with the Turn 3 Racing Network and the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series for the Creekwater 250. Opening week of round number 2 in the season championship. 8 drivers chasing after that season championship, and we haven't talked a whole lot about those championship 8 here tonight, but we're going to start to highlight them here as we're down to just 25 laps to go. You can find the majority of those championship 8 right there at the front. The cream rising to the top, as we are known for seeing and known for saying. Let's start it off with Jerry Isaacs, who leads the field here tonight. Championship contender. 11 top 10s, 7 top 5s this season, with 2 race-winning performances. Jerry Isaacs definitely one of those championship favorites. How about the man sitting behind him in line right now, Dan King? 12 top 10s, 6 top 5s, looking for yet another podium finish. Still chasing after that first win, but still that 85 GoPro machine. Also, the big hitter when it comes into the championship. Dave Sanders sitting in third on the racetrack. He's a championship hopeful. 6 top 10s, 4 top 5s, 1 race win for the 77 of Sanders. So he's definitely somebody we're going to have to eyeball and watch over these next 3 weeks here tonight, as well as the Roval in Las Vegas to finish out round number 2. Cody Richardson, model of consistency. 12 top 5s, 12 top 10s, 4 race wins. Doesn't get much better than that for a season run. Richardson sitting in 4th, and definitely one of your biggest championship hopefuls. Christian Delgado, a little bit of a struggle here tonight. The 13 machine off of the lead lap, sitting back in the 11th position. He's going to look for the road course to try to make up some gains, as we've got the front of the field to pit road. Everybody heading down pit lane with 23 to go. Gary Bowman going to recycle his way back to the front of the field. Ed Jurgen, yet another championship contender with some trouble here tonight. 11 top 10s for Jurgen, 2 top 5s. It looks like he's eyeballing a top 10. We'll see if he can't pick up that position or 2. But the 92 of Jurgen for the moment, sitting back in 11th. And how about Andrew Costco? Where would we be without talking about this 86 Mad Spartan Sim Racing machine? Costco with 3 wins this season, 10 top 10s, 7 top 5s. And you're seeing, or hearing I should say, as Gary Bowman quickly to pit road this time. Bowman going to quickly head to pit road, trying to minimize the time on pit lane. We'll see if that's going to be beneficial to him or not. Meanwhile, side-by-side action between Richardson and Isaacs, fighting for the eventual race lead. The GoPro 85 going to fall back to 3rd, as Heinzman hanging on. Still 1 lap down, but Cody Heinzman definitely not going to give up just yet. Dave Sanders going to fall in line right behind. And there it is. There's that fuel-only stop. Gary Bowman going to pull a fuel-only stop. He is going to give up some time on the racetrack, but he is going to be much closer. It could benefit him, and there he is, just behind this lead pack. Can he get grouped up quick enough? Man, that's going to be... If he can pull this off... Oh, there it is. It looks like the distance may just be a little bit too much. We're going to take a look here at that 92 of Ed Jurgen. There you can see now Delgado in Bowman in tow. Sherman behind him looking to join the mix. Lead pack just out front, about 4 seconds out front, quickly into the back of Jurgen. And these drivers are now going to group together. 4 of them are going to try to run down your top 6. And I'm wanting Bowman to catch. I'm wanting him to catch him. I'm not even gonna lie. He's given up about a half a second here since packing up with his fellow drivers. But man, I'm wanting him to turn this thing around. Less than 20 to go. Field down the back stretch, back into turn number 3. Isaac's back at the point once again with Richardson and Keene in tow. And I wouldn't be upset to see that GoPro 85 in victory lane. To be honest, I mean, he's one of the drivers, in my opinion, that he's been lurking there all season long. I mean, we mentioned it, 6 top 10s. I mean, 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s. He's always in the top 10. Just about half of the races this season inside of the top 5. And I would venture to say, out of those top 5 performances, those 6 top 5s, I would be willing to bet that they're all podium finishes. He's finished second, he's finished third. He just hasn't been able to seal the deal. Will he be able to do it here tonight? How about the man behind him? He waited all season long until the last 2 weeks to get his wins. Could we see Keene jump to the outside with help from the 28 of Heinzman? There is, I don't want to say some iffy scenarios, but there is some opportunity for these drivers to put themselves in a position to go for it. What about Sanders? If Sanders gets a good run on that 28, he may jump to the outside. That could force the 85 to try to make the block, get up there as well, and really get that outside lane rolling. Back across the stripe, 16 laps to go. We're down to the nitty-gritty here tonight in the Creek Water 250, live from Talladega Super Speedway. Race number 1 in round 2 for the championship chase here with the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Jerry Isaacs showing the way with Cody Richardson and Dan Keene in tow. Bowman unable to close in on this lead pack. What looked to be a strategy that may help close the distance. Unfortunately, not going to work out the way it was intended. And your Premier Racing Center Pole Award winner, Gary Bowman, going to be mired back in the field. Looks like he may have to settle for the 7th position here tonight, as we were under 15 to go this time around. A little bit of house cleaning for the final time tonight as we cross the line with 14 to go. 15 drivers to the grid here tonight. We are down to just 11 drivers out on the track, with only 7 remaining on the lead lap. The Creek Water 250 has proven to be a little tough for a handful of drivers here tonight. We're going to keep it wound up at the front. Isaac's looking to pack on yet another race win, pick up win number 3 this season. Pull even with Andrew Koska in that winners column and close in a little bit more. Well, the man that's sitting right behind him, waiting in the wings, looking to pick up his 5th win of the season. Cody Richardson has been a man on fire. Still not a lot of action here at the front of the field. Drivers seem to be content just logging these last handful of laps. Will we see anybody make a move? That's going to be the big question. That's going to be the big ask. And I mean, from my standpoint as a driver, there has been times when I've thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to stay right here, walk away with a good solid night. We've got a tough race coming up at the Roval. Let me just go ahead and bag some points here. Let me not make a dumb move and make a stupid mistake and take away from a phenomenal points day and end up outside of the top 10. But wrecked out at the end of one of these things. Let me just kind of stay here and just bank the points and head on home. And every time I would think about that, I would think about what I was doing on the racetrack. You don't show up to a track looking to run third. You don't show up to the track just wanting a top 5. You show up to win. That's why you're here, to win races. And it's such a battle mentally, especially when you're here at a restrictor plate race and you're 4th, 5th in line. It's so tough to keep yourself disciplined and staying in line and not jumping out, making a bad decision, and having it all come crashing down at the end. So as we are down to less than 30 miles of racing action remaining here tonight in the Creek Water 250 field, going to work their way through the tri-oval back across the stripe, leave us with less than 10 to go. Isaac's still showing the way. And we're going to look at the fuel mileage situation, race fans. I want to keep my eye on that. Looks like your lead pack, they're going to have to go at least 23 laps to get to the end of tonight's race on their final fuel run. Do they have enough to get to the end, or will they need a splash? Could you imagine Gary Bowman, right? He's sitting 9 seconds back, right? He came to pit road. Watch this. Watch this. He came to pit road 1 lap later. But he's got plenty of fuel. Made up some ground by a fuel-only stop. If these drivers have to stop for a splash, Bowman gonna sit pretty. He gonna wave bye-bye as he's driving by. I don't know if it's gonna happen. The fuel strategy is a little bit too close to really call here tonight. I think if drivers here in this lead pack, I think if they're that close, if they're within a lap or 2 laps of being able to make it without having to stop for a splash of fuel, I would expect to see some of them start to stretch that limit. I would expect to see drivers like that 85 of Dan King, Sanders in that 77 machine. How about Long sitting right there in 5th? An amazing run here tonight for Ken Long, up 8 positions from where he qualified in that Mobil 1 Champagne machine. And Long may be playing a little games here. Jumped out of line. Allowed Andrew Koska into that top 5 position. Jumped right back down behind him, so he may be playing a little strategy here. We're going to see. We're going to keep our eye on that Mobil 1 machine. Long a little bit sneaky here tonight. And back across the stripe. 6 laps now remain here from Talladega Super Speedway. Get your popcorn ready. Hope you got your drinks in hand. We're fitting. Go down here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway, the Creek Water 250. Big shout out to Yellow Wolf and Creek Water Whiskey. Absolutely an amazing, smooth drink. If you haven't had it, it's your local spirit store. Check them out. Absolutely phenomenal. Gadsden's very own Yellow Wolf's Creek Water Whiskey. Check them out on shelves. Shameless unpaid plug, but we're going to mention it anyway. It is what it is, right? We're going to see the high five from the boss man at the flag stand this time around. We'll see 5 to go here from Talladega Super Speedway. When will the moves happen? I don't expect to see these guys stay single file, so who's going to jump, who's going to make the move, and who wants a run at the checkered flag? And how about the phenomenal job here before we get caught up in the end of tonight's race and talking about what's going on and unfolding on the track in front of us? How about the phenomenal run from this field of drivers? Early caution here tonight on lap number 2. We've been clean and green ever since, so an absolute lights out performance. Here at Talladega Super Speedway, 4 to go this time by. Isaacs continues to lead. Richardson sitting in second. Will we see him make a move from third? Sanders, little look to the high side there. A little look to the high side. Sanders looked like he might have wanted to go that time around, maybe testing the waters at what Koska would do behind him. Didn't appear that Andrew Koska wanted anything to do with the attempt to jump out there just yet. We're going to jump on board now. We're going to have some great camera shots coming to the end of tonight's race. We're going to jump around all over the front of this field with some great camera shots. Here this time around, Heinzman all over the tail end of that 85 machine. Let's take a look here from Sanders' point of view. Let's go on board here with Dave Sanders. 3 laps to go. Nobody making a move just yet. You gotta go soon. It's gotta be this time. Back from Richardson now. Only race leader Jerry Isaacs in front of him. Will Richardson be the driver that we see peek a nose to the outside and make a run for the race lead? At a turn 4 this time by, we're going to see popsicle sticks on display. At 2 to go here from Talladega Super Speedway. There it is across the stripe, 2 to go. Nobody jumping out of position. We're going to stay single file front of this field. Gary Bowman still continuing to lose ground. He will not be able to close in. Field going to need a caution flag here on the back stretch if they're going to want any opportunity at a chance to win this thing. Nice and orderly at the front. Will we see that on the final lap through 3 and 4 coming to the stripe? This time by, we're going to see the 1 to go here from Talladega Super Speedway as the drivers make their way through the tribal to the start-finish line. We roll. White flag flies. Final lap at the Creek Water 250 here from Talladega Super Speedway. No moves being made just yet. Driver still nose to tail as they make their way. Adam, turn number 2 down the backstretch. Will we see those moves being made? Will anybody jump to the high side? There it is. There's the 85. He's going to jump to the high side. Let's take a look here, and there's Heinzman going to go with him. Sanders back down to the bottom to help that 51 of Isaacs, but is this the move? We called it earlier. Called it. We said it might happen, and here it is. Can Dan Keene get the push he needs out of 4? Big wiggle on the top side, but here we go. Back to the line. Long way to go. Can Keene pull it off? And there it is. He's going to make the move to the middle and across the start-finish line. New race leader for the first time this season behind the wheel of that 85 machine. We talked about needing to make the jump. We talked about whether or not that 28 was going to go with him. Man, you boys just made me look. Y'all made me look like a genius. You know what? I'm going to be honest about this. An amazing finish, an amazing race win for the man behind the wheel of this GoPro 85 machine. It has been a long time coming for Dan King, the North Carolina native, to get to victory lane. Brought a smile to our face. He's been right there, and he's finally gonna get it done. He's finally gonna get that race win. Just an absolute phenomenal job. The patience shown, waiting in the wings, has paid off. Dan King gonna walk away with a race win here tonight at the Creek Water 250. We're gonna set things up for your post-race show. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. And back trackside at the conclusion of tonight's Creek Water 250 here from Talladega Super Speedway. And we're going to dive right into things. We're going to see if we can't have a few words with the man that walked away with a final spot on the podium here tonight. Let's see if we can't get the radio channel to work for us. And looks like we may have gotten it now. Let's see if we can't pull him up and have a few words with the man that walked away with a final spot on the podium here tonight, back behind the wheel of that 51 machine. Jerry, it's Dave. You got a copy?
I do.
Man, what a race there at the end, right? Tonight, you led, you led, and you had the field kind of in a Dale Jr. moment, right? Everybody was kind of just following you along for a vast portion of tonight's race. Walk us through those final, well, that final lap, with the big run, coming through 3 and 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, just not a lot to say. Just we just stayed. I stayed committed to the bottom and just figured, I don't want a big wreck or anything. Oh, Mad Sim racers up there, so I'm just gonna roll the bottom and see what happens.
So that's gonna. You mentioned the fact that all the other Mad Sim and Mad Spartan team drivers up there with you. But what is it about the car or combos or track combos that has just benefited you guys so far this season? You guys have been lights out week in, week out. We can find 2, 3, 4 of you guys inside of the top 5, pretty much week in, week out. What is it that you think sets your team apart?
It's probably the next gen car, in the sense that most of us run this, not exclusively, but 90% of what we run is this car on NASCAR tracks. So lots and lots of practice because this is what we do a lot of.
Well, it definitely shows up in the point standings and the finishes throughout the seasons, man. You're going to continue to stack onto that top 10 and top 5 percentage. Just an amazing season for you so far here. Great way to start off the second round of the playoffs. You get to breathe easy going into the holiday weekend. So before we let you go here tonight and take a little bit of a in a what's the word I'm looking for? Not needed, deserved. There you go. Well deserved. A simple word, and I couldn't even think of it. My
That
goodness.
happens.
Anyways, well deserved little break. Would any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Absolutely. Thank you again, Dave in the Cave. I know this had to be a little bit hard to broadcast. Smaller track, smaller driver count, not the most exciting race, but we did try to put some excitement in there for you a little bit. And so thank you for hanging in there, all the fans watching, Cyber Thunder Racing League, of course, the Mad Spartan group, and Cody Richardson for giving me that push there towards the end. Last
Well,
of all, hi, Mom.
I've always got to stick in the hi mom. Always got to remember mom. And Mother's Day just recently passed. So hope all the moms out there had a wonderful day. Father's Day coming up, Jerry. Remember to say thank you to the dads. Just saying. No, just kidding, man. Just
Absolutely.
kidding. Just kidding. Man, a great season for you. Always a pleasure to catch up with you. It's been a phenomenal year so far. We'll continue to see if you make that run or not. Until next time, my friend, stay safe and keep it fast.
Thank you, man. Hope to talk to you again.
All right, there here. Final parting words for the man on screen, walking away third here tonight behind the wheel of that Mad Spartan Sim Racing 51 machine, Jerry Isaacs. We'll park in third. We'll move a little bit up the track. Let's take a look at the man that had walked away second here tonight. Let's take a look at him inside the ride, inside the office. Let's bother him. Let's see if we can't talk to the man inside of that 86 machine. Andrew doing a little wave with the wheel for all the fans out there watching. How you doing? How you feeling after finishing out tonight's race with a great second spot?
Yeah, this was a pretty good finish here tonight. I'm surprised it worked out after Jerry and I got together early on in the race on pit road, but great run here for the entire MSR team to get us to basically sweep the top 6 positions.
Now, see, I asked Jerry, and he was a little bit humble about it in his answer, so I'm going to ask you the same thing. And besides the fact that this particular car seems to be a car that you guys run primarily away from the league running, what is it that sets your team apart here? Because week in, week out, the Mad Sim, Mad Spartan team is just lights out, man. What is it that you guys are doing different?
I think it's just the practice and working together a lot is what kind of does it, especially at the beginning of the year, getting ready for Daytona, for other series and stuff. We spend a lot of time practicing our drafting, our pitting to try to get it all right. And that's one of the big things, especially at this place, is to just get that pit road entry, get connected again to try to get those gaps out on the racetrack.
Well, Andrew, it's been a phenomenal season for you so far. This is going to be your 11th top 10, your 8th top 5. Still got those 3 race wins in your back pocket. We still got 3 more weeks remaining. We hope to see you in victory lane again, but before we let you go for the holiday break, would you like to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, first of all, shout out to you, Dave, for all you do broadcasting our races here every week, and shout out to the entire crew here at Cyber Thunder for putting on this great league here. Shout out to everyone watching out there, and shout out to the entire MSR team. We got a tough one out there. There's basically 5 of us trying to fight for those final 4 spots, so it's going to get interesting out there the next couple weeks, I'd say.
Well, someone's getting kicked off the team. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Man, Andrew, a heck of a season, heck of a run. Hope you enjoy your holidays. Until next time, my friend, stay safe and keep it fast.
Thanks, Dave. Talk soon.
There you go. Final words for the man behind the wheel of that 86 machine. Andrew Koskett going to walk away with second. And for the first time this season, we're going to bring it in properly. The man behind the wheels of this GoPro machine. There you can see waiting the words from him. It's been a long-awaited moment, but finally in victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. Dan, how good's it feel to finally get that checkered flag?
Oh man, it's I kind of want it. I kind of want to finally win one that's not a super speedway, but I'll take the win however I can get it.
Well, you
feels
mentioned getting a win away from a super speedway, and not that I don't want to say super speedway racing is easy, because it is not. There's a lot of different things you guys got to do throughout the course of the race to put yourself in the proper position to make the moves. We've seen that here tonight with you coming out of I believe it was you made the move down the backstretch coming out of turn number 2. We're gonna get to that in a moment. But more importantly, man, this win coming at a proper time for you. We've got 3 weeks remaining. This win here basically sets you up to have a fairly easy next 2 weeks to work yourself into that championship race at Homestead for the crown. So now that you've got a little bit of momentum on your side with the race win, how you feeling about heading to the Roval after the holiday?
Oh yeah. Well, it's as long as I can make the next 2, I'm locked in now with this win. Um, so I just need to make the races. I guess I just. So that's a huge relief by itself. I guess I more kind of need to make sure I don't get a little too conservative with these next 2, so that I'm ready for Homestead, not caught napping a little bit, you know.
Absolutely. Well, man, you've had a hell of a year so far. Hopefully, we don't get in trouble for that language, but nonetheless, I mean, 12 top 10s so far this season. Looks like you blew the engine there.
Yeah,
Idling, that's kind of funny, but 6 top 5s, first race win on the year. I mean, confidence has got to be there. What made you make the move on the backstretch? I mean, you could have finished this thing off in 3rd, still walked away with a great points day. What went through your mind, and what was the deciding factor to jump to that outside and try to make the run for the lead?
Really, I mean, it's a race. I didn't want. I mean, I know it's a team and all that, but at the end of the day, it's a race. I wanted to make it a little more exciting. I didn't want to just sit back there and take 3rd place. Wanted to try something. If it didn't work out, then hey, it didn't work out. But it ended up where Heinzman, I think it was, ended up working with me. So have to thank him for the push, and yeah, it's the last lap. You got to do what you got to do, you know.
Well, we love it, man. Absolutely. If you go back and watch it, I called it. I said, will the 85 make a move, and will Heinzman go with them? If they do, you better watch out. I'm telling you, go back to I think it's about 15 to go, is when you can start hearing me talk about you two maybe working together. Made me look like the Nostradamus of broadcasting, so I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
But man, a hell of a season for you. Great run. Before we let you go and finish with the Champagne Spring here tonight and enjoy a great holiday going off with a race-winning performance, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Thanks as always for the broadcast. I'm sure it was maybe a little. You had to find stuff to talk about. I will say that much. um, and thanks to anyone watching. Thanks as always to Mad Sim for running with me and here in NIS. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, man, short and sweet to the point. Savor this victory. They are a little bit hard to come by here in this series, so definitely finally breaking through. We think the momentum is starting to turn your way. Very consistent throughout this season so far, so we expect to see you in the mix over the next 2 weeks. And as you already mentioned, locked in to Homestead. You just got to make these next 2 races, and we expect you to be a factor down there in Miami. So we look forward to that as well. Until then, my friend, stay safe and, of course, keep it fast.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, there you go. Final few words for the man finally in victory lane. It took 13 weeks to get there, but he's going to do it right here from Talladega Super Speedway to open up round number 2 of the season championship run for the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series. Man, what a night. What a run here for the Creek Water 250 from Talladega Super Speedway. Just another amazing race, another amazing night for the Cyber Thunder Pro Cup Series drivers. And with producers hitting those buttons in the background, you know the sounds, you know it's time for us to run down tonight's unofficial race results in the Creek Water 250. Top of the charts, checkered flag in hand, race winning performance, new race winner at that. The GoPro 85 will park it in victory lane. Dan King will roll in. Andrew Koska going to come home second. Third place tonight to Jerry Isaacs. Ken Lung with his best finish of the season. The 37 Mobile 1 machine will finish in 4th. Cody Richardson going to slide back here on the final lap. The 64 machine finishes in 5th. Sliding home in 6th will be the West Virginia sponsored and ramp number 77 machine of Dave Sanders. Your Premier Racing Setup Pole Award winner. Rough go on a pit stop, got Bowman behind, was unable to make the run back to the front, and Gary will finish in 7th. Cody Heinsman, 8th here tonight. Ed Jurgen sitting back in 9th. Christian Delgado going to round out your top 10. The 6th of Corey Sherman in 11th tonight. The 09 of the Stephen Music going to walk away to a 13th tonight from Talladega Super Speedway. Belongs to Chris Letts with Mike Donahue and Judd Danielson. Rounding out your top 15. That's pretty much going to do it for us. We're going to start to cut off the lights and roll up the cords. What a night of racing action. And man, with the holiday break coming up and hitting the track again for the road course race at the Roval Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Queen City will host race number 2 in round 2. It's gonna be one crazy night and Charlotte in 2 short weeks. We hope to see you all then. If you haven't already, don't forget before you go, remember to join us in that push to 4,000 subscribers. Show these drivers love. Drop the thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell. Over there on the right-hand side, get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, David the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're sliding in to say hey, or you are one of the dedicated fans, friends, family, or one of our many different sponsors. We appreciate each and every one of you. Big shout out to Premier Racing Setups, your longest standing and running setup shop for iRacing.com. An amazing week, an amazing night. Have a safe and happy holidays. Until then, my friends, stay safe, stay loved, and we'll meet you in Turn 3.